Hi, and welcome to LNA Does Audio Stuff. Hey, this video is for you if you are starting to teach yourself music production. Yay! So I understand that music production can be quite daunting and be overwhelming when you're just starting to teach it to yourself. So I have created this video that will clarify all the basic concepts, words, things, purchases, plugins, everything that you need to know. So I hope to demystify all these things for you so that you can just get into the production and less confusion, more production. So it's your lucky day, because if you are confused as where to what tutorials to watch, what to learn next, I have created you a guide which is in the comment box down below. If you follow that guide, which is step by step, then it will really help you not get overwhelmed and not being hard on yourself. So let's get started with this tutorial and let's go to the 7 tips and tricks on how to start teaching yourself music production. Okay, so the first step, tip, trick, whatever, is understanding Ableton Live, the basics. And here they are. So when you open Ableton Live, this is how it looks like. The basics of basics of what I need to tell you is the screens, the views. There is actually 4 different types of views, very important views that you should know about. The first view is this view, this view. It's called session view. So we have clips, we have scenes. I'm going to tell you about those in a minute. In the bottom here, we see sends, we see the faders. And then number 2 screen is on the top right corner. You go to the horizontal lines. You see this screen, and this is called arrangement view. An arrangement view is basically the same as here, but in a linear format, in a horizontal format. So you have 2 views that both can have stuff in them, both can play, and they can play even same time, but usually it's just so that your workflow can go from one view to another view and from one view to another view. So example, this view I use mostly for creating stuff and like playing out with sounds and stuff. And then this view I usually kind of used for finishing it up. The third view, very important, is browser window, and that's here on the left top corner, the triangle here. You open it up, it gives you instrument, drums, instruments, audio effects, MIDI effects. If you have Max for Live, it gives you that stuff. Samples, templates, packs, user library, all the data you can just drag and drop into any of the tracks are here. And by the way, these are tracks here, same as here, these are tracks. And by the way, how I'm going between these 2 windows is using the tap key on your keyboard. And the 4th important view is the bottom view here. So that kind of has 2 views in it. I'm just going to put an instrument into a MIDI track. Wavetable, there we go. I drag and drop it to a MIDI track. I can double click on one of the clips like this, and I can just see now on this bottom window what's inside of this clip. So I can, example, double click and add a note. And now if I activate this clip, it plays the clip, okay? And now I can go between these 2 windows, the bottom left one and bottom right one. Here shows the instrument. This is the instrument that makes the sound. And on the left one, I show what's inside of the clip. Okay, so I came to another session just to show you. So in this session, I already arranged it. I've found some cool samples, and now I can just go and play it either for myself as a production way or as a live performance for the audience. So I can do that by activating the scenes, and scenes are the rows. So example, I have this sample and this one sample on the first scene. So if I activate the first scene, the intro, it will play just these 2 samples. So there's an audio sample and there's a MIDI sample. So let's play those. And then when I feel like I want to move to the next scene, so intro 1, activate the scene number 2. Then I can move to scene number 3. So I can just activate either the clips from here separately or as a row, so as a group. I can also stop the clips by these squares on the tracks, these squares on the bottom of the tracks here, or all of them together from the bottom here on the master track, the square on the master track. What I can do is just press record here on the top of the Ableton Live. Start performing it exactly as I performed it just a moment ago. Just jam it out, jam it out. And so on. So now I press stop and I go to arrangement view, and what's happened recorded is now in arrangement view, but it's kind of gray. So now we need to activate the tracks in this view, and how we do that is with this funny red button here. So voila, so now this view is active. I can go start listening to it here. Sometimes I just go directly to this view and I don't even use this view at all. So it just depends on how I feel and what I feel like doing. Because this is just an overview of everything, and I'm just going to show you how you can start learning everything by yourself. I have created a structure. If you follow that kind of recipe of what to learn next, then you will learn Ableton Live very fast. So if you just follow it through, you will learn everything: the session view, arrangement view, recording, FX, browser window, instruments, MIDI, everything. You will learn that. So just take it step by step so you don't get overwhelmed. Step 2, I would tell you the tip and tricks is going to the preferences. Firstly, the audio, very important. So here you can select the audio input device and audio output device. So here, example, I have a Scarlett 2i2, so my interface where my microphone is plugged in. So that means that if I select that on a track, channel 1, you will then, I can record my voice. Because my microphone is plugged into the channel 1 of my Scarlett 2i2 USB interface. My sound is going out to screen flip loop back because that's where I'm right now recording this, screen thing. But usually I would also put Scarlett 2i2 for that. If you don't have an interface, then it would be the built-in microphone or whatever you have at your own computer sound system. The next thing that will affect your recording and production is buffer size. So when you're recording, use as small buffer size as possible. That means that there will be a smaller latency between your microphone, the interface, and your computer. So your sound doesn't actually arrive to computer like a couple seconds later, but you'll always hear it same time. When you are then doing the production, put it as high as possible. And what this means is that it's to do with your CPU overload of your computer. If your sound kind of goes like your computer is going like yeah, it's gonna crash and stuff, then put the buffer size as high as possible. It's one of these things that if I would have figured that out much earlier in my production career, it would have saved a lot of time for me. The most important bits that I wish I would have known, most people are confused about, is warping. So I keep the loop warp short samples as auto and then auto warp long samples as off. If you don't know warping, what it means, I have a video also about it, and it will be in the learning schedule curriculum situation. Okay, so audio recording. As I mentioned, I use an interface. I have a Scarlett 2i2 interface that is the most loyal friend ever. I've had it for ages, and it's such a good quality, and especially for the price. So find a good and reliable, well, also relatable interface that you like. It's a USB connection to your computer, and then usually they have 1 or 2 channels that accept both jack cables as well as XLR cables. Also, you can connect the outputs from the interface if you have studio monitors. Otherwise, you can monitor, which means that you can hear what you're doing through the headphone output. So what you also have is dynamic microphones and condenser microphones. So there's different type of dynamic microphones, which are good for speech, good for podcasts, good for rappers, good for very loud sounds like trumpets or drums and stuff like that. And then we have condenser microphones, which are really good for singers, guitarists, anything a bit more gentle, piano, with a lot of sounds, a lot of frequencies, and something that we need to have like a very clear recording of. So in Ableton Live, we can record in arrangement view, and then I'm gonna go here and I need to activate this track. So right now you can't hear the input, and that is because the track is not active. So we record activated, and what I just flicked there so I can hear it in real time is input monitoring. So there's in, auto, and off. Off is that I can hear it but it's still active. Auto is that I can hear it and it's very active. And in is that I can hear it even if the track is not active. And I'm gonna click record. And there we go. And we have recorded audio. I also have a whole video about audio recording, so go and check that out also in the schedule, learning schedule for yourself. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is plugins. That's something that people ask me a lot. Is the Ableton Live devices and plugins? So they're actually called Ableton Live devices, and plugins are something that you plug in to Ableton. So that's why I call these devices, and then plugins I call plugins. So they are third party, so they come from a different manufacturer. So many people ask me, should you, when you're getting started, should you invest to buy a lot of plugins? My advice is no, you really don't need to. The whole audio industry really encourages you to use as much as money as possible. But why is that? Is because people want you to spend money. And the equipment you have does not make you a better producer. What I would tell you is that go to your audio effects and MIDI effects and learn them fully. There's so much they can do, and they can feel a bit confusing in the beginning and stuff. I have lots of videos going through all of them in detail. When you understand what they do, and they can do so much, like so much. So example, compressor is delightful in here. We have two different ones. We have compressor and glue compressor, you know, drum bus, which is amazing, amp, erosion, overdrive. So it's just saturator. They are already so good. So just learn every single one. Learn what they do. Then we go to plugins. Then you know what you want to invest to, because then you know what you don't already have. Then you know what kind of sound and compression do you want. If you then want to start investing into plugins, there is plenty of the stuff you can go for. So here are some of my favorite ones. I started with Native Instruments. That was the first bundle I ever bought. So I bought Complete 10. It was an older version, and I got it half priced. And it's been one of the best investments I did in the beginning of my career, because it gave me an introduction to third-party plugins. It gave me such a good selection of new instruments, reverbs, compressors, EQs, all these good things. So I basically, the first 3-4 years, I only had this package, which has all that stuff in it. Plus I had audio effects that came in Ableton Live. Then I started expanding a little bit. This is a free one that I use to measure my masters, the volume, Hofa 4U meter. So then Isotope, yes, very good stuff. Also, they're really user-friendly. So if you don't know how to master example, then Ozone 8 and 9 elements are very good for that purpose. Then I really like Spitfire Audio. I have their BBC Symphony Orchestra. So good orchestra sounds, really realistic violins. I have Splice happening, and then I have Waves, and Waves have like, I bought this like a vocal bundle. I also use Max for Live stuff. So I also have started to learn how to actually create my own Max for Live devices, but you can see that my Max for Live collection is a little bit bigger than my VST ones, because Max for Live devices, so you get that with Ableton Live Suite, but also you can buy it as an extension for standard. The value of your gear does not make you a better producer, or it's not your worth as a producer. Oh, am I a real producer if I don't have that certain thing? Yes, you are. You know, if you create sound, you're a producer. If you mix sound, you're a mixing engineer. If you master something, you're a mastering engineer. It's that simple. So the next thing is samples. Again, we have samples, lots in Ableton Live already that you can use. There is drums, there is vocals, there is instruments, there's all kind of stuff. But also you have packs. Some of mine are gray because they're on an external hard drive, but also you can see I have 45 available packs that I have so much more that I can download. And basically you can download them from here. All this you can download. I usually put them on external hard drive just to save some space on my computer. But there is samples. So these are sample packs, there are instrument packs, there are effect packs. So they're just packs full of all this, basically. But you can also buy external ones that are not from Ableton. You can then put them on user library here that has your own samples. So you can create yourself a system. So you can buy from artists. I have one sample pack that I created with 90 women and non-binary music producers. So you can, example, buy that, put that there. You can create your own sample packs. I have a video how to do that. So you can also create your own sample packs and put them here. There's also Splice, has a lot of cool samples, and I'm gonna put a Splice link down below as well. All the samples that we talked now are all okay to use in and release your music. So they are royalty free. So they are just samples that are okay to put into things and use it in your songs. A-okay. If you feel like using samples, use the samples. That's why they are there. That's why they are existing. Tip number 6. I have recommendations on your workflow. So example, when I started music production, I used to like just add so much stuff in there that I got so creatively frustrated and very confused because nothing sounded that great. Because the last thing you want to do is, while learning music production and Ableton Live, is to feel the panic feeling and start blaming yourself, thinking you're stupid because you can't get it working or something. That's not what we want, because no, you're not stupid. And yes, you can do it. It's just, it takes time for everybody. So just take it step by step. My tips for that is that concentrate on 2 to 4 different sounds at first. So example, in here, concentrate on just 1, 2, 3 tracks example. Example, drums, bass, and synth, or drums, chords, and vocals. Whatever you feel comfortable with, and forbid yourself to think that it needs to be ready and sound amazing before it's ready. Trust the process. So focus on enjoying the creative process of creating these samples. You know, don't think about the outcome, think about the process. Think about what you're creating right now. Example, these 3 fit really well together. The rhythm fits together, the scale fits together, the kind of melody quality fits together. It's just everything about that kind of groove and harmony quality just fits. Like, it could work already by itself like this so well. I have plenty of workflow videos that I have created that has also PDF guides on them, so you can follow those PDF guides and like if you don't know where to start to create a whole track, then just go step by step those guides and then learn how you can convert these 3 elements into a full song in like matter of hours, basically. Okay, and the tip number 7 is what to learn next. There's like certain like audio, music production, music theory concepts that I would say that you would need to know to kind of take the next level on learning music production in a higher level, so that you can understand and study all these effects in a much deeper way, so that you understand what these instruments do. So what is analog? Like what is it? What does it, how is analog different than wavetable? What is synthesis? So the words are, I have the words here. The first one is understanding signals. Signal shapes, so sine wave, square wave, triangle, sawtooth. Understand it, Google it. Then synthesis. What is synthesis? What type of synthesis there are? Then also filters, envelope. What is the envelope? And phasing. After you learned about the signals and the different ways you can actually treat signals, learn about dynamics, learn about acoustics, a frequency spectrum, what are harmonies and what are harmonics, and then learn about stereo spectrum as well. Don't compare yourself to other people. Everybody has their journey and everybody has a different background of learning music production and audio. To say if you never have ever felt like you can do it, I can say that you can. Anyone can. Listen to me because I was a school failure. I'm dyslexic. I literally I failed English. I'm speaking English right now, but I failed it in school. I failed math, science. I was always a theater kid, being outside. I was being the social, but nobody expected from this social and outgoing girl to be a nerd who's interested in all this stuff. So I didn't even expect that from myself. I'm also very dyslexic and I have dyscalculia. So I literally can now code. I can do all this and I can understand audio and I can, and what more I learn, the more I want to learn. Everybody has their own journey and there is no certain type of a music producer. There's not only science is right. Everything else on the top of it is just opinions and point of views. So trust your point of view and trust your opinion and learn the science. Everything else is just expression. So just have fun with sound. Enjoy it. Enjoy the music making. Audio is supposed to be fun. That's my final words. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe because if you want to learn more, then I'm here for you. So also hit the bell icon so you will hear pling every time I post a new video, which is every single Sunday. And also thank you for everybody from my Patreon family who support me. In Patreon I have a lot more extra content. Also in 2 of the tiers I give you personalized feedback on your tracks. And yeah, I also do live streams and all that, and we have a lot of fun there all together. So please come there, please enjoy music production, and see you here again soon. Bye. Bye.